Cool.
Two. Go ahead.
Okay, first of all, shukach to the people that put together this beautiful initiative. I think the word of the time is chizuk. How do we mechazik ourselves? And obviously, in the merit of the soldiers and the merit of the war and the merit of the stronger enemies and the hostages being returned, it's chizuk. It's how to be mechazik. So when this started, when this whole thing started, a couple of days later, I got a phone call from a very good friend of mine, and he said to me, like, what can we do for your kids? So I said, my kid, like, I don't know, how to answer that question. So he said, let me rephrase the question. He said, like, what helps your kids? Like, what gives your kids chizuk? Like, what moves them forward? And I had to think about it. And I think that the answer is, what's helping all of us, and what's helping all of us, like, get through this time, I think is the chesed. And everybody, there's like, I don't know anybody from the youngest kids to the oldest people that are not somehow in some way involved in a chesed project. And I think that's a little bit the chizuk. Now, I think it's giving everybody a feeling of purpose, a feeling of mashmaut. And this week, we start getting to know Avram Avinu in Parshat Lech Lecha. Start getting to know Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu is known as the Ish Chesed, but he's known as the man of Chesed. And the first part of the parsha, right? Lech lecha me'artzecha, meladecha beit avicha al aretz asher ereka. So Rashi there says, "Lahanatcha letovatcha," you should go. In the end, it's going to be good for you. It's going to be beneficial to you. It's going to be pleasurable for you, to go. So obviously there was, some sort of debate or challenge. This is one of the tests Chazal bring that Avram Avinu had, was to pick up and leave everything that he had to go. And Hashem, at the end of the day, says, "Look, don't worry about it. It's going to be good." And the truth of the matter is that I think that's the story of Am Yisrael, right? The Nesiv Shalom. I'll just read it out. He writes that. He writes, sorry, האמת היא שכל ניסיון החיים העוברים על איש יהודי, הרי כולם לענת חלוטובת. He says a Jew has to believe that any sort of hardship, any sort of test that he has to go through in life, realize that it's lahanat chalotovatcha, that it's really, in the end of the day, it's really, for your benefit. And he says, movilimot shemovilimotcha lahasig tchilato. He says, this is what moves you along. This is what helps you achieve your purpose in life. Your purpose in life is to go through things, and at the end, to come out on top. And that's really, I think, the end message here. What's it called? Sorry. The Jewish history, when we started Sefer Bereshis, right? Jewish history is this is Jewish history. It's we have a hardship over us, and somehow we come out of it, and somehow we come out of it stronger. And I think that that's a little bit the message of the time. And people say, what's going to be? How's it going to end? I don't think anybody knows how it's going to end, but I think that it's a little bit the munat chabalelot, right? That we have to believe that when it's dark and when it's difficult, we have to that's the test of Emunah. The test of Emunah is that we have to believe that in the end, it's going to be good for us, and it's going to be beneficial for us. So I what's it called? I came across a story by Yafa Eliach. Yafa Eliach was a Holocaust historian. She was a Holocaust survivor herself. She passed away a few years ago, and she would write memoirs and stories of people from the stories from the Holocaust. And one of these stories like kind of really touched me. And the story goes that it was the first night of Hanukkah. We can already start talking about Hanukkah now that it's getting dark and the days are getting shorter. Hanukkah comes in the darkest, coldest time of the year. And it's the time of the year where it's darkest, that we have to bring more light in and bring more warmth in. So anyway, the story goes that in the barracks of Auschwitz, some of you may have heard the story. In the barracks of Auschwitz, there was a Jew there. Was first night of Hanukkah, wanted to light Hanukkah candles. So he found a little potato peel, and he put some oil or wax or whatever it was, in it, and he ripped a piece of his uniform to put in a little wick, and he lit the candles, and L'hadlik ner Hanukkah and Shasani sim la'avotenu v'meimahem b'zman hazeh, very, very powerful. Shechianu v'kimanu v'gianu l'zman hazeh. Imagine, saying that in a concentration camp. And what happens is that the Nazi soldier comes in, he says, what's going on here? And who did this? The guy raised his hand. He said, it was me. So the Nazi soldier comes. He starts beating the guy. He starts beating the guy, and the guy starts smiling. And he beats him, and he beats him harder. And every time he beats him, he's smiling and he's laughing and he's getting like happier and happier. So this German soldier, he says, like, what's going on? Like, what are you, crazy? Like, you lost your mind? Like, what's doing here? So he said, I'm just wondering, like, what Yeshua is going to come out of this. In other words, Jewish history is full of hardships, but somehow the Jews, we always like pull together, and we always come out on top. And there's your ancestor, he tells the Nazi, Haman, also we got a beautiful holiday out of it. And Paro, we got also, we came out of it, and we came out stronger. So I think that's a little bit, these times that we're living in right now. I think that the message right now to us is how do we get chizuk? Because we get chizuk, we realize that Am Yisrael is together, and I think it's a really, really beautiful thing that we've all seen over the last couple of weeks. How Am Yisrael really has come together, and all these things that we were maybe talking about 3 or 4 weeks ago about this one's political party, and this one's religious religious affiliation, and this one's like this and this one's like that. All that stuff really is melted away, and we've all really come to try to get to a common goal. And I think that the goal is Ahavat Yisrael, and the goal is really coming together and as a nation to one common goal. And Bezrat Hashem, we should be zocha to see it. One just quick little cute thing that happened just to end. Right when the war started that week, I was in Machane Yehuda in the Shuk, and they have a stand there. Chabad has a stand there that's tefillin. People that don't look like they put on tefillin. And a guy walked by, one of these tough guys with the tattoos and the earrings and the whole thing, and he didn't look like he put on tefillin that day. So the guy comes to him and he says, brother, can you put tefillin on? So he says, the guy says, I don't believe in these things, So he says, the guy says to him, look, for the zechut of the soldiers, for the zechut of the hostages, why don't you put on what's it called, on tefillin, and it'll be their merit, and He says, I don't believe that. I don't believe in that. So the guy says to him, he says, why don't you put on tefillin, because I'm your brother. And the guy looked at him and says, all right, fine, I'll do it. So anyway, that's like just a little bit, people really from every walk of life, just giving to other people, I think it's a really, really, really special thing. And Bezrat Hashem, we should see in the end how it is. We should see really the Yeshua in this whole situation, and we should all be zoch. We should all be zoch. Bezrat Hashem, it should bring the final geula. Yesher koach to everybody.
Yeshua, thank you very, very much, and just want to wish a mazel tov to Gabby Novak, who's on air. So big mazel tov from all of us, and same time tomorrow night, same place, and hope to see everybody there. Have a very good night, everybody.
Yesher koach.